Okay, so I'm not sure how you all are faring in your assignments, and it's just kind of turning like an online class. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some problems in various chapters and post it up into the Canvas so that you can determine how, or it'll help you figure out your problems. Okay, so I picked problem 3 from chapter 18 because it's got the 3 different methods: the single, the departmental, and the ABC. So let's get this done. So this is the information we have here. I guess we're doing downhill sports. Now we can see they say that the driver is direct labor hours, or DLH, which you guys will hear me say DLH. And let's see, you got production control, materials handling. This is going to be your indirect labor up here. Number of production runs, number of moons. Again, that's your driver. So what drives this? Right here. Right here. Okay. So we're going to be producing some snowboards, and so you can see them right here. And we all know that I would prefer to be working in Excel. So I'm going to be checking something. The activity-based indirect labor to 2 different. Okay, where is my, okay, labor hours right here. All right. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, come up here to my calendar, and I'm going to open up an Excel file. I love me some Excel files. Y'all know that. It's just how I like to live. So I'm going to try to grab this and copy it into the Excel. We'll see if it works. It didn't. Oh, no it did. Okay, so we'll just get rid of that top. So I hate not having Excel on my actual computer because of this. I don't like using, this one doesn't have as many functions as Excel in your computer. So I got to figure out how to fix that. I have to go and get a academic license or something. Okay. Ugh. Okay, let's make those wrap the text. We're going to make them centered because centered looks pretty. We like pretty. And I know you guys are going, oh my gosh, Professor Duke, stop with the making things look pretty. I can't stop, guys. It's just how I roll. Okay, so I'm going to leave that alone, even though it's not centered to what I think is acceptable. But you'll forgive me, right? Okay, take out that $, and good. I've got everybody looking pretty. Let's make sure this is going right there. Okay, I'm going to put an underline here just because I like an underline. And I can start singing, but you guys aren't going to get that. Okay. So here we go. We got our number of production run, number of moves, direct labor hour, direct labor hours finishing. So let's figure out which one they're going to pick for us. So based upon direct labor hours. Okay, so this is our total amount right here that we need to figure out. Let's go ahead and grab that and put that over here too. We'll paste that one. Okay, make that one look pretty because that's how I roll. Okay, underline. Okay, so we got 1170. Okay, so let's check this out. So here's some labor hours, and there's my direct labor hours. So there's what does it look like if I add them together? It's 12,000. So I'm going to take my rate per DLH. Okay, so 12,000 divided into that 1170. I got 97.5. That's what I got. Okay, let's go check and see if that's correct. It better be, or I'm going to go looking for somebody. Okay, check my work. Oh, it's right. Oh my gosh. Isn't that so cool? Okay, so we're going to figure out what is the total and per unit factory overhead cost. And so we need to round it to the whole cent. So that's to the 100th, which is 2 decimal places. Okay, so here we go. So my snowboards use 6,000 direct labor hours. How did I get that? Well, I got that right here, 2 and the 4. Okay, and I'm going to pull up this handy dandy calculator that I was using when I was working on a video for financial. So I'm going to go, okay, I got 6,000 times 97.5 equals 585. Now, if I wanted to be thinking ahead of the game, I can take this right here, subtract 585, and that's going to be my skis. But, you know, it's going to be my skis no matter what, because it's 6,000 as well. And so I'll double check my work just because I want to see, make sure, oh my goodness, it's working. Okay, and then I'm going to divide this by 5,000 equals 117. And that's going to go for both of those units. Now, interestingly, you can see that the snowboards, they have those number of production runs. There's a whole lot of them compared to the skis. Same thing with the number of moves. The direct labor for both of those departments, they equal 6,000 combined, but I bet you $1 there's going to be a different dollar per hour to that labor cost. So let's, you know, when we get over into ABC, we're going to see that that is a more effective, efficient method of allocating your factory overhead because we're following the drivers. What's driving this cost? So let's continue on. Okay. Determine the factory overhead rates under the multiple production departments. So I've got 2 of them. Total factory overhead is 435 and 735 for cutting and finishing. Okay, 435 and 735. Okay, making sure that we got the right amounts. And so all I'm going to do is, you know, my cutting department here, it's 5,000 and finishing is here 7,000. So I'm going to take, cutting is 435. Clear that. Divided by 5,000. Should have just taken off the zeros. 87. Okay. Now here, 7,000 for finishing. So let's get that handy dandy calculator again. And I'm going to take 735. Oops. 35, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to divide it by 7,000 because that's my direct labor hours. And I get 105. Okay. So check it out. This is a little bit, using this departmental, you can see that it's creating a more realistic factory overhead application based on how we are using this factory overhead. Okay. So it wants me to figure out my total factory overhead for the snowboards and for the, let's see, round to the nearest whole cent, so for the snowboards and the skis. So here we go. So both of these are 6,000 no matter what I do. So I'm going to take the cutting department, and it's 87, and finishing is 105. So let's, okay, I need to do something. Need my Excel file because it'll be easier. Okay, so this is my cutting. My finishing. And this is going to be my snowbird, and my skis. Okay, so cutting is, okay, cutting is 435, no, it's not 435, it's 80s. Okay, 2,000, 3,000, that's what I'm looking for. And this one is going to be 4 and 3. Okay, I know that my cutting is 87, and because I just remember that one off the top of my head, and that one is 105. So notice I'm using Excel because it's easier for me to do it this way than it is to go and do it by hand. I don't like doing it by hand because I can make all kinds of mistakes by hand. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zero out these 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 3,000. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say 2,000 times 87, 3,000 times this 87. Same thing right here. Whoops. I'm just going to, because these formulas, I don't have any anchors in them, I can just drag them right over and it's going to flow into the, boom, right there. It's going to flow right into that finishing and use those figures. Okay, I'm going to double check. 435, good. And this one should be like 7 something. Good. Okay, so now I know exactly how much labor and everything I've got going on, what the cost is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and total this, and I'm going to go like this and like this, and then I'm going to go right here. Now I know for a fact that they're going to use, they are completing or manufacturing 5,000 units. So I'm going to go here, divide it by 5,000. And I got 11.8, and that one is 115.2. Let's go ahead and make that a beautiful accounting. Right there, I don't need a dollar sign. Okay, so there's my answers right there. So let's go 594 and 576. And 576.423. Make sure I got my information correct. All right. Who'd have thunk? Okay, I got 118.80 and 115.20. Double check those. Should be correct. They are. Okay. This is going to be fun. Now, I really like doing this one just because you've got a lot of information in here. But another reason is it's kind of like this big, huge puzzle, and I like solving puzzles. So now we're going to do an activity rate. So I'm going to go ahead, and so we have this information over here already. So I've already put this information in. This is just kind of, right here. This is their departmental. Maybe I'll just go ahead and I'll put this and call it departmental. So it'll separate and you guys can kind of look at all this stuff. Okay. So Cengage. Okay. So we got production control, which our production control right here is 90,000 and our material handling is 270. Now here's our cutting and here's our finishing department. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and come back over here to this beautiful Excel, and I'm going to copy it because beautiful Excel loves to be copied. Okay, now here's my number of production runs, here's my moves, my direct labor hours, my direct labor hours finishing, cutting and finishing. So we're going to find a rate for each one of these. Now this one, the drive of that is the production runs, this one's the number of moves. So up here in our sin gauge, 90,000 and 270. So I'm going to put my cost right here, 90,000, 270. Now I also know that here's my other information. Cutting is 250 and finishing is 560. I believe it was 560. We'll find out in a minute, won't we? Okay, so let's figure that, make sure that is true and correct to the best of our knowledge. Okay, does that look correct? Yep. Okay. Because I can't stand this. Let's see if that'll work for that. Just totally do all of it. Let's see if that'll work. Okay, so there's my cost. Now what I'm going to do is per driver, I'm going to go 90,000 divided by my driver, which is 500. And because I haven't anchored any of this, I could just drag this formula all the way across and it's going to look beautiful. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this information and move it back down here. So you're going to see how I'm going to apply this per driver to the snowboards and to the skis, and then we're going to come up with a total dollar amount for each of these. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put a total rate over here because we are going to have that in just a moment. So I'm going to take my snowboards and I'm going to go plus 450 times 180, and my skis only has 50, so plus 50 times 180, and there we go. Now just because I'm anal, and you guys all know this, I'm going to double check and make sure that these two are the same amount. And I'm doing that just to double check myself. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to grab all these formulas and I'm just going to whip it over to the side because it's easier. And I don't have to sit there and work for each formula at a time. So here we go. I don't know what's that one doing. Oh, I don't need to do that one. Okay, good. Now I'm not going to worry about that. Well, I guess I can put 5,000 here. We still got 10,000. Okay, I need to come up with the totals for my snowboards. So I'm going to go ahead and do an E. Make sure I don't include that 5,000 because that's number of units. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and drag that down. And then I'm also going to sum that because I want to double check and make sure it equals 170. And it does. Okay. Then my per unit, I'm going to take that 681 and divide it by my number of units, which is 5,000. I get 136.2 and 97.8. And now we've done activity-based as well. So I love doing this on Excel because I think it really is much prettier. Now remember, you can, if you so choose, you can set up your problem however you want to. Use Excel and do whatever makes sense to you. So let's go ahead and let's get that information in here. Let's see, how did they want us to do that? Okay, so they want the activity rate per unit. That's my activity rate per unit, 180. And I think that's 3.6, and this one is 50. I'll double check that in just a sec. And 80, okay. Okay, check my work. Let's make sure we're correct. Ah, look at that. I love being right. Okay, what's my total activity cost? I'm going to come back over here to my Excel. 681 and 489. Okay, my activity cost per unit, again, I'm going back over here, 136.2. 136.2 and 97.80. Double check, I'm right. I know I am. That's so great. Okay, and then this basically right here, I'm not going to do this because you guys can do that yourselves because you have all the information already. And each of you guys are going to have different pieces of information. So I just kind of wanted to point that out, this fun, chapter 18. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and I'll see you again in a little bit.